again. My name is John Abiam, an alumni of the University of Nigeria and Nsukka, focusing in history and international studies. Like I said earlier, I will be the chief moderator for this event, co-assisted by Mr. Kenneth Ugu. So I will hand over the stage to my colleague Kenneth Ugu to take the next thing on our list. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. John Abiam. Yeah, like I said, we are strictly working with time. Me, I didn't say something when we are introducing. I'm a media person too, so I understand what time is to everybody generally. So I'll make sure we keep to time. I'll make sure everything went well. Thank you so much. So the next item on our list here is National Anthem. National Anthem. I don't know if the technical assistant is ready for that.
Oh yes, he will assist us on that.
Okay, I think that's what we have here.
Okay, let's get ready for the National Anthem. Okay, please hold on. Let me give us the National Anthem so I can get the audio too. Okay, please hold on. Let me give us the National Anthem so I can get the audio. Okay, please hold on. Let me give us the National Anthem so I can get the audio. Okay, please hold on. Let me give us the National Anthem so I can get the audio. Okay, please hold on. Let me give us the National Anthem so I can get the audio. Okay, please hold on.
Please, can you hear me? If we can't really, if it wouldn't really be convenient for us to take the National Anthem, I think we have to jump to the next item we have on our list. I think that must be a technical issue from our technical assistant at the back end. I think we have to skip it. Maybe at the end of the program, we'll now take it once the technical assistant is ready. I hope I'm speaking our minds.
Thank you, Mr. Kenneth. You are in line. We are in order.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the next item we have here is introduction of the special guest of honor. Introduction of this special guest of honor. So I'll be calling on the chief moderator of the events to just give us this brief list so that we can jump over to the next item again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kenneth Ugu. Without skipping protocol, I would like to invite the convener of this great event to welcome his guest. Thank you. I leave the floor for Mr. John Uchewokenbonu.
Yeah, good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon once again.
Yeah, young prof, we can hear you. We can hear
I'm very glad.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm very glad once again this afternoon to this great discussion. No matter the circumstances, I know that history, the record is there to speak for itself. Without wasting much time, I want to appreciate our guest of honor for coming. It's not only taking time to accept an invite, but honoring it. So I just want straight away to introduce our guest keynote speaker, Dr. Bright Alozie, and our guest lecturer, Mr. Then of course, our chairman, Dr. Mo Obinna. Thank you. Over to the chief moderator.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you properly. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much. We have to introduce some of our contributors who are live here with us. So let me leave the floor for my co-moderator to introduce them.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. John Ibiam. I think I'll do that very sharply. Yeah, first I have to recognize and also embrace the presence of the organizer of this program. It's not an easy one. It's not that person than I call him young prof. Mr. John Uchenwoke. Mr. John Uchenwoke. And also I want to use this opportunity. I don't know whether Ezodinaka is here. He has contributed immensely for this great program. And also Obi, I don't know if he's here with us. Please, Obi, if you are here, just go to the chat box and just wave to us. We all see it here. We all see it here. And also the moderator, John Ibiam, he has fought like a lion to make sure that this particular event becomes feasible. Thank you so much. I have a very long list here, but at the end of the program, if time permits, I think I have to recognize each and every one too. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kenneth, for that wonderful introduction. Sure. So I hope we can all hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you properly.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if the chairman of this event is here with us. Hello, Mr. John. Can you hear me?
It seems to not to be around.
Okay.
It has not logged in yet.
It's fine. Without wasting much of our time,
yeah.
Let us go ahead and have our opening remarks. In the absence of the chairman, let me make the floor open for the convener of this great event.
Thank you once again. Is actually a challenging one. Hello, do I have the floor?
Yeah, you are.
We can hear you.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. It is actually a challenging one, organizing a program in this magnitude, considering the environment and the society, the level of the emphasis on things that makes us better than that doesn't make us better. Ordinarily, a program like this, by now, we should be having a traffic on the platform. But as we all can see, we are yet to have a reasonable one. But then it's not a reason for we or to dampen our spirits. I once again commend all of us for coming, for logging in this program. Let me quickly go to my remarks. Remarks by the convener of the Renaissance Ubuta Committee, Rock, Comrade John Chemuke on the occasion of the Second Youth Annual Conference, Nation Building and Knowledge Economy, and digital education in the 21st century, the place of Nigeria youth. This Saturday, the 25th day of September 2021, is taking place virtually. Protocols. It's a delightful moment. Welcome to this webinar Intellectual Harvest, wherever you are joining us from. We recognize there are those following via Facebook, WhatsApp, Zoom, YouTube channels, and other social handles and platforms. Our special salute goes to, or my special salute goes to the keynote speaker, Dr. Bright Aloze PhD, Mr. Dibichi Debere Obodo, the guest lecturer, and Dr. PhD, the chairman. My contributors, audience, thank you all for honoring our invitation and paying the sacrifice to develop this unique program. Permit me to say that no matter the present of our dear nation, I see greater light at the end of the tunnel, a space the youth of Nigeria are going to occupy if we engage in the center in robust conversation in this manner. Nigeria is hugely blessed with intelligent, skillful, creative, and enterprising youth, but has not been given the desired conducive environment to unleash their potential and flourish. In our field of endeavor, our youth has been conquering the world and making significant waves, but in our country, they have been struggling at the hands of the old men who have held this nation down with their obsolete ideas. This informs the essence of this event to initiate a deliberate national discourse on responsive leadership with special emphasis on knowledge, competence, and character, and above all, positive cultural transfer to the next generation of Nigeria if the nation must survive the presence and the manifestation of a failed nation, staring all of us in the face. Permit me to say that there is no nation that develops beyond the shores of the intellectual capacity of their political leaders and elect. By this I mean the sophisticated mental development that enables a leader to think outside the box and in return breeds the infrastructure, industrial and economic development of the nation. Knowledge and observance of competence and merit are pivotal here. Distinctively, the key performance of the above should be felt among the people, particularly the youth as the acclaimed leaders of tomorrow. Unarguably, and on a generic note, an investment in human capacity building makes the people perform optimally and efficiently. It creates healthy competition amongst the component states and leads to national security and productivity, as well as engendering the sense of citizenship, national loyalty, shared responsibility towards national building. Furthermore, in the wake of the global new normal occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic and its ugly realities in all facets of human endeavor, an economy that is crested on the triples of digital economy, knowledge economy, and technology will save the moment and the future. Importantly, respecting science and its warning and its warming would be a safer approach towards addressing global warming and climatic changes, and not less our cultural values. Square to this, it is very germane to see the challenges of the pandemic as opportunity to open up our digital spaces in the education sector and build a knowledge economy rested on the youth. This means creating what I call the youth market in Nigeria, tapping from the huge port and demographic diversity of Nigeria young population in technology, in technical education, vocational skills, entertainment, culture, and of course, entrepreneurship. In conclusion, if we must safeguard the future of the next generation of Nigeria leaders, we should be deliberate in beating the unemployment and underemployment rates of the nation, particularly taking full cognizance of becoming the third most populated country as predicted in the next 25 years. Our leaders should stop the politics of preventing the development of the country. Political leaders at all levels of governance should desist from extracting rent from upstream and downstream sector, power, education, health, security, and wasting same in building white elephant projects and castle in foreign land, but should use them to invest in the youth who have far-reaching economic return in the real capital market. I therefore enjoy every one of us to listen attentively to the well-selected speakers today and enjoy the maximum benefit of this intellectual harvest. Thank you once again.
All right. With a round of applause, let us appreciate the convener of this event for this wonderful speech. Let us appreciate him for the wonderful speech. It is not easy. Let us appreciate him. It is not easy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. To take us further in this event, I don't know if the chairman has joined us. I don't know if anybody can confirm that to us, but the chairman of this event has joined us.
Like, I'm just 1 month, I'm just coming.
He hasn't.
He hasn't.
He hasn't.
I don't know. Please, I want to make an announcement, please. A note of point of note for everyone, please. This event has been slated to last for between an hour and 30 minutes, and like the convener rightly pointed out, ab initio. If it was an event that was not going to be impactful to the youths, we would have had a traffic before now. But that notwithstanding, we are not relenting on this. We have to go further. Regardless, we have to go further. So we would like to, I don't know, the studio should give us some light music while we organize ourselves within the next couple of seconds at the background, please. All right, guys, and I think we don't have to waste time. We have to welcome our keynote speaker to give his lecture. I know everybody is ready for the lecture. It is on record that many were called, but few were chosen. So without wasting much of our time, I think we have to welcome our keynote speaker. So studio, get ready while we take his citation. Hello, studio. Hello, Mr.
Yeah,
Chima, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Please, we want to make welcome our guest keynote speaker, rather. We want to welcome our keynote speaker to give his lecture. But before then, I will be here to take his citation before we give the floor for him to give us his lecture. So while you prepare his citation to display on your screen, I indulge us to try in as much as we can to switch off our mic when we don't have the floor to avoid the background noise. We have to, maintain decorum in the course of this webinar. Thank you, everyone. Studio, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, once again. My name is John Ibiam. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Good
hear you.
afternoon, everyone. My name is John Ibiam, acting as the chief moderator of this great event this afternoon. We would like to make welcome the keynote speaker to come and give us his lecture. And the keynote speaker is no other person than one of our own, Dr. Bright Alozie. Dr. Bright Alozie is an assistant professor of Black Studies Department, Portland State University, United States of America, and associate director, Center for Black Studies, Portland State University in the United States of America, sorry. Permit me to say that the Ijele does not answer himself. Dr. Bright Alozie existent historian par excellence, has announced intellectual adventures and results. As a model, he has grown in leaps and qualifications. Thus, Dr. Bright Alozie, PhD, holds a BA in History and International Studies. From the prestigious University of Masters of Arts in History and International Soccer, and in Dr. Bright has attained the zenith of academic qualifications by obtaining a PhD in History from West Virginia University, United States of America. Dr. Alozie is a celebrated researcher with a bias in social and political history, specifically Nigeria and West Africa. This erudite scholar has over 11 years of teaching experience, rising from the ranks as a graduate assistant at his alma mater, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Having distinguished himself as an academic of unequal repute, has earned him several awards and recognitions, ranging from project awards, grants, best paper awards, innovative awards in digital learning, to mention but a few. As a hardworking academic, he has so many publications in summary articles, book chapters, book reviews, journal articles, monographs, and so on. In addition, are his previous and current roles as a presenter, co-presenter, both in the media sector and conferences. Finally, Dr. Bright Alozie is a member of some professional bodies and organizations, like the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, the Historical Society of Nigeria, the Association for Promoting Nigerian Languages and Culture, and a host of others, which time will not permit us to mention. For further details of this academic colossus, kindly visit his website for full details about him. Moreover, I would like us to note that this is an abridged citation of Dr. Bright Alozie, which time might not permit us to take the full citation. Without wasting any time, and with much respect to whom respect is due, and honor to whom honor is due, with a round of applause, may I make welcome Dr. Bright Alozie, Assistant Professor of Black Studies at the Portland State University, USA.
Thank you, Mr. Ibiam, for that glowing bio. I'm indeed very humbled to share the space with you all. My humility stems from a couple of facts. I feel a sense of nostalgia of Nigeria, my own alma mater. This nostalgia reaffirms a fact that I have harbored in me for many years, that my students keep doing well. And I think that is testament to the fact that I did well as an instructor. We did well as learners. On the other hand, the nostalgia is also engineered by the fact that all of us are looking for a common goal, a youth revolution, a better youth, a better Nigeria, a better Africa. I must appreciate the convener of this event, Mr. John. It is right about 6:34 a.m. on the Pacific coast here, but I couldn't just ignore this moment when Mr. John reached out to me to deliver an address on behalf of this conference. I was glad because Kandi Boy I will translate. When one finger dips oil, it spreads to all other fingers. At the same time, I thought about the proverbial saying that ndị Igbo anyị na-ekwu achụ aja ma ahụ gị udele. Mara na ihe mere ebe ndị mmụọ bi. Well, that is, if the vulture fails to hover at the end of the sacrifice, then you know that something has happened in the land of the spirits. This proverb brings to light a huge problem we are facing in Nigeria today. Oh, Anna Chwaja here, we are making a sacrifice. And look, the king of sacrifices who hovers is not there. That is a vulture. Then there must be trouble. I couldn't ignore coming to give my piece, a 2 cents in this youth revolution. At the same time, I believe that Gidi Gidi Bugweze, that is unity, strength. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter whether you have been taught or you are the teacher. It doesn't matter at all whether you're on top, you are the middle, or you are below. What matters is unity. Indeed, it is high time that youth bind themselves together as one, despite our ethnic or religious persuasions. Hence, when the convener reached out to me, I said, could you just talk to us? I said, why not? This is part of the unity and strength. My task here is a simple one, it's very complicated. Why is it simple? It is simple because it is a keynote address. And I am so excited because I am going to deflect a lot of the talk to the guest lecturer, whom I am very honored to share the space with, Mr. Dumebi. I appreciate your presence. I also appreciate the work you have been doing in this space of entrepreneurship, in the space of industry, and the space of nation building in Nigeria and Africa. Give honor to whom honor is due. You deserve your red feather hat. Now, to the business of the day. Why are we gathered here? What does it talk about knowledge economy? What does it talk about digital economy? What does it talk about the Nigerian youth? Let me give you a context. Somewhere between the equator and the Anambra town of Onitsha, about 5 students are sitting inside a class watching a YouTube video of how to make a drone from the scratch. Trust me, they are going to succeed. These 5 students are going to be committed before they graduate high school or secondary school, and they will come out with a masterpiece. Some 300 miles away from Onitsha, a group of youths are in Alaba, Lagos, hustling, taking advantage of technology, of the social media, and developing excellent and innovative entrepreneurial, tech, or other digital skills. Yet, hundreds of miles away again, in my own town of Aba, in the rural area market, a young girl is finessing her skills in making top-notch shoes, top-notch bags, in making well-designed clothing, and using her social media platform to showcase her talent. Oh, for this young girl, her shoes could pass for our famous Rubinacci. Her shoes could pass for our famous Salvatore, Italian brands. Her shoe could pass for famous Prada. Trust me, if you do not take your time in Aba, you could be sold Aba-made shoes at Italian brand names. That is ingenuity. Nationwide in Nigeria, youths are making waves. Just in March of this year, 2021, a lot of us have had a Florida wave. Florida wave became one of Nigeria's foremost fintech startup. It made global headlines. Hey, Florida wave received a whooping $170 million. I repeat, $170 million. Today, Florida wave is valued at about $1 billion. Huh. Wait a minute. It is not just Florida wave that is pulling these waves. A whole lot of other tech startups, masterminded by youths, are making waves. These are youths who have been frustrated with the situation in Nigeria and the lack of support thereof. As a matter of fact, Florida wave was anchored at the back of the just concluded NSAS protests. What is the point here in all these examples? Africa, and indeed Nigeria, has some of the world's largest, youngest population, and they are growing. At the present, young people in Africa aged between 15 and 24 constitute about 9.4%, 9.4% in the whole continent of the total population. Children under 15 years are nearly 41% of that population. Now, please combine this figure, 41%, with 19%. You are having over 60%. What does that tell you? The teeming population of youths in Africa. In fact, by their sheer number alone, the choices, the opportunities, the constraints of young people will continue to play a role in shaping Africa's development. But our focus here is to look at Nigeria as a microcosm to understand Africa as a continent and profile solutions moving forward. Nigeria, very populous giant. Nigeria, with its big economy, unfortunately, one-sided economy. Nigeria, very well known even abroad, sometimes for the bad, most times for good. Well, Nigeria's population makes the country stand out. Nigeria's youth makes the country stand out. As the biggest economy in Africa, it has the largest population of young people in Africa and one of the largest in the world. Let us put a context to it. According to the Bureau of Statistics, as of 2021, the Nigerian population is over 212 million. How about the youths in the country? The youths in the country account for 42.5%. 42.5% of 212 million gives us 89 million youths. Could you imagine that? That the youths are such a massive voice in a transformative digital economy. With the population of the teeming Nigerian youths, Nigeria is well positioned to develop a strong knowledge-based digital economy, one that would have a transformational impact on the country. Through innovations, through the right investments, the Nigerian economy can actually harness digital data and new technologies. It can generate new content. It can link individuals within national and global markets. It can link government services. It can roll out new sustainable technological and business models. But what is happening in the digital space? What is happening in this proposal for knowledge-driven economy? Unfortunately, despite the teeming youthful population, despite the strides that Nigeria is making, indicators, economic and national, do not tell the whole story. The reason this conference is convened is for us to even begin to appreciate the fact that things are falling apart. The population, the youth, who are the largest, don't even have a voice. Oh, and when they do, what happens? They are fired at. No thanks to the firing at NSAS protesters. On grounds, Nigeria's tech and digital industry have lacked support from the government. It has lacked representation by the youths. We could talk about Florida Wave. We could talk about Paystack. We could talk about other Nigerian technological startups founded and led by young people. But guess what? These youths have bared the most debilitating frustrations. They have overcome challenges of a weakened, inept political structure. They have overcome the obstacles of police brutality. They have overcome the basic challenge of lack of support by the government. Oh, it became a case of by hook or by crook, but they had made it. Their gruesome experiences at the hands of a nation that does not care about its youth. It's not just an experience that the young entrepreneurs in Florida Wave experience. It is an experience that all of us, you and I, experience. Of course, this has affected productivity. This has affected outcomes. We have come to meet a clash of generations. The younger generation is now fed up. The younger generation is now angry, and we want to do something about it. We want to tell our displeasure to the older generation. The younger generation feel that the older generation is responsible for that decay. The younger generation is demanding a revolution. This revolution is not one that would be focused on the one dimension of Nigeria's economy. Oh, I said one dimension. Yes. Historically, Nigeria made a huge mistake. It made a huge mistake in the sense that it did not diversify its economy. The dependency on oil alone has plunged Nigeria into poverty level. Because, my friends, countries are no longer buying oil. There is no alternative that we rely on as a nation. In 2023, there will be no more diesel and petrol cars in Europe. Just where I live, out of every 50 car parked on the street or in the garages, you'll see at least 20 Teslas, 20 electric vehicles or more. Cars are now powered by electricity, eliminating carbon emissions on the roads. Take a cue from Europe. Europe gave its citizens 10 years notice in advance to let them know that they are moving from petrol-driven cars to electric cars. Even so, during this 10-year notice and planning, 33% of Europe's youth were involved in planning, execution, manufacture of these electric-driven vehicles. Oh, till date, Europe continues to invest in its young ones. Till date, North America continues to invest in its young ones. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said of Nigeria, or more broadly, Africa. A knowledge-based economy, a digital economy with the youth at the epicenter is an opportunity to diversify the economy. Why is this so important? Unfortunately, we were hit with a global pandemic, COVID-19. But according to statistics, during the COVID-19 pandemic, in 2020 alone, the tech sector contributed 15% of Nigeria's GDP. That is the digital sector. I just pray our leaders would hear this. Apart from agriculture, the digital and technological and IT sector became the largest contributor to the nation's GDP. And who was driving this sector? The youths. Were they supported by the government? No. What did the government do? Your guess is as good as mine. They were banned. I would not be surprised if after this conference, this particular series will be banned. This is an indictment on our leaders. For a very fast-growing economy, for a sector that contributes significantly to the gross domestic product of the country, yet it is ignored. For a sector whose major contributors are youths, yet it is ignored. This is a food for thought. So my address is to actually give us the problems. It's to lay the foundation for the lecture to kickstart and help us youths to also think about ways that we could get more involved in this revolution. And I prefer to call it a revolution because Nigeria requires an overhaul. I believe that the pen is mightier than the sword. As a result, this overhaul from the youths must start with intellectual engagements like this. The growth that we seem to experience in the digital sector, in the ICT sector, does not even translate to jobs for Nigeria's growing youthful population. There are several people who are even financially excluded and cannot do basic financial transactions with any bank. Despite the fact that IBM, Microsoft, Google, Cisco, all of these tech giants have heavy presence or presences in Nigeria. It is very unfortunate that the youths are not represented in this massive presence. Think about it. Over 190 million people today in Nigeria have access to a mobile phone and internet. power is in our hands. At the same time, the digital sector employed only about 497,000 youths. That is just 1% of 89 million. Let us just say that half of these are not qualified. They do not have a degree. But how about the 45 million? Look at the disparity in including youths in the day-to-day affairs of the economy. For the youthful population, some even lack digital skills because the government does not support them. The technological infrastructure is not even adequate to support them in some regions. I know most of us have had to hustle and hustle and hustle even to make sure that we have a good streaming device for these particular events. Many of us have had to hustle and hustle and hustle to make sure that we gain some certifications online. Many of us have had to hustle and hustle and hustle to showcase our entrepreneurial talents. The gap between our needs as youths and the reality on ground or the facilitation by the government is very, very disappointing. I must say, saddening. The government of Nigeria has not even put on enough investment into supporting human capital development, especially in the youths. In Nigeria, there are significant digital gaps, and our youths need digital skills for the 21st century economy that we are projecting. Look, there are over 200 digital skills, but for most of these skills, we do not have access to them. There is a digital skills gap, and our youths need these skills significantly to position them to be effective for the digital economy. These frustrations, I am sure, have led us to convene this event. No doubt, the guest lecture for today would address significantly these digital economy, knowledge transfer, and practical ways that the youth of Nigeria can go about it. And of course, profile solutions to help. But allow me to just state very briefly that the state of Nigeria digital economy must be anchored on 5 pillars. I believe so. 1, digital infrastructure, which will facilitate training, skills acquisition, and the likes. 2, digital platform, which is only about what the youth of Nigeria and Africa asks for. Give us a platform, give us a market opportunity, and we will take the world in its reins. 3, digital financial services and opportunities. This would help the youth flourish. 4, digital entrepreneurship. Trust me, during the pandemic alone, so many persons lived and worked from their cell phones. A lot of folks became digital entrepreneurs. And of course, 5, digital skills. These 5 pillars are key fundamental elements of a digital knowledge-based economy. It is my hope that every African person, every Nigerian person, every Nigerian youth should be able to support themselves based on these infrastructure, platforms, financial opportunities, entrepreneurial skills, and such like vocational skills. In Nigeria, a digital economy should be top priority. There is need to strengthen a knowledge-based digital economy. Much work needs to be done. A digital-led strategy should make Nigeria more competitive in the 21st century global economy. I am a key proponent. I am a key advocator for this digital economic growth, for international connectivity with the youth, a vibrant ecosystem of digital technology, not just in Lagos or Abuja, in Aba, in Onitsha, in Ogbete, Enugu, in Kano, in Castina, all over the nation. Venture capital companies should be involved. Digital startups and even the diaspora should be involved. We should improve our digital infrastructure, strengthen these digital platforms, increase access to digital financial services, improve the policy environment for digital entrepreneurship, and of course, close the digital skills knowledge gap. Lastly, what do youths want? They want a platform. What do you want? You want a platform. Sometimes they say that in Igbo, yeah, because that is where it's most important, right? In this case, for us, we are very much interested in that part of us that involves our skills, our brain knowledge, so that we can invest them very significantly. Hence, I call on the Nigerian government, I call on youths, I call on all of us to raise our voices, continually requesting across all platforms, requesting our leaders to do the right thing, to give us that platform. Oh, there are 12 million youths in Nigeria today who are IT competent. And when I mean IT competent, at every level, they only need global connectivity. They only need that platform. They need the Nigerian government to help them access the platform to connect. And it's not just about IT alone. We can learn other skills. That is where the knowledge economy comes in. I may have had degrees, bachelor's, double master's, a PhD. Those are certificates. As a student for life, my greatest degree has been my certificate. That is, streetwise, vocational skills are learned. Oh, Nigeria did a number on me. Losing my father and two of my older sisters to a terrible car accident, of which I was a sole survivor, I lost hope in Nigeria. I did not see myself fitting in so well as a young boy. I struggled to make ends meet as a student. I took advantage of the digital platforms, hustled on a desktop. I still took advantage of my entrepreneurial skills, sold clothing I got from Aba in UNN. Oh, when I joined the ranks as a lecturer, the platform was not there for a young, vibrant lecturer to flourish. What happened? Sadly, I became one of the victims of brain drain, living for Europe and America for pastures greener. Do I sit back and regret this? No. My only regret is this: that 10 years after getting my, after lecturing at the University of Nigeria, 12 years after getting my degree, the situation is even worse. You all can attest to this. We all know that the youth in Nigeria is multi-talented. We don't need a lot. We carry our phones, and with our phones, we have power. We can make money. We can do other things with it. We need to get engaged. And if you have a huge population of young people like this, and you do not challenge them, you are asking for big trouble. Asi. Modindo. Do not even step on the tails of a young leopard or lion, whether it is alive or dead. I say to you today, our leaders, Nigeria as a nation, Akbagani, the youths, I cannot do. Whether they think we are dead or we are alive. But now it is time for us to roar, to tell them that indeed they've scorched our tails and we are ready to shake up with a youthful revolution. We are ready to use legitimately and develop our talents, our skills, whether through music, movies, agriculture, IT, entrepreneurship, or vocational skills. And we must express these skills. Accumulation of knowledge is an asset in young people. So if well used, it leads to a revolution. I believe that the Nigerian youth should be seen as an asset and not liability, as progressives who must be integrated in an ICT knowledge-based digital economy. Let me reiterate my point earlier. I believe in the youth. We believe in the youth. We believe in the ideas we have. There has to be a match between these ideas and our access to innovations. We need a platform that allows us to express our talents for the global market out there. We need the government to enact policies that allow us to develop our talents and a supportive environment that tells us that, yes, we are here for you. Once the government sets these policies in place, we are going to take that idea by storm. We are going to channel it through the same territory that we've always done. And we are going to flow back revenue, not just to our pockets, but to the nation and the continent as a whole. We are going to challenge with the world at large. Indeed, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour is not enough for us to exhaust this very important topic. I've left out a lot of flesh in this talk so that the guest lecture can handle it. The guest lecture would really give us food for thought. But the greatest food for thought we should bear in mind today and every other day should be this. As a youth, despite the challenges and frustrations, what are my contributions? How do I support this knowledge-driven economy I project? Why is this a great food for thought? Because the change we seek begins with you. It begins with me. Thank you for listening, and I yield.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Dr. Bright. Wow, for this wonderful lecture, what are we going to do towards that? Can we put our hands together for Dr. Bright? A wonderful hand of applause for Dr. Bright. Honestly, I don't have much to say. You know, it's always a big shoe to engage such an academic colossus to this event, especially events like this, with the level of network glitches we are encountering because of the discourse. Yet, he availed us his time to be here to speak to us. A wonderful round of applause once again for Dr. Bright.
Thank you.
For those of us that joined late in the course of this discussion, Dr. Bright is an assistant professor of Black Studies at the Portland State University, United States of America. I will now entertain 2 or 3 questions for Dr. Bright before we go over to the next person that will be giving us his lecture. I will only take 2 people, please.
Michael has I don't know if that's a hand raised up. Moderator.
Let him go ahead and ask a question, please.
Please, Michael, you have the floor. You have my ear.
It seems that Michael is having a network glitch. Dr. Bright,
please.
I have a few questions for you. You talked about the 5 elements of digital knowledge-based economy. That's the way Nigeria can tilt towards achieving a digital economy to be at par with global best practices. You talked about digital infrastructure. You talked about digital financial services and opportunities. You talked about digital entrepreneurship. And you talked about life vocational skill. Sorry, I was not able to get the last one. I had a network glitch in the course of that.
Closing the digital skills knowledge gap, the capabilities and skills required to use various forms of digital technologies actually remain very limited to a small segment of the population. And that is why you only see just about 1% of the youth accessing it. And in most cases, what we've also discovered is that out of that 1%, a further 1% are also youths who are progenies or children of the elite, who are the ones who have the most access to some of these digital skills. So that gap needs to be closed.
All right, thank you so much, sir. I don't know if someone else has any question to ask
Sorry,
Dr.
John,
Bright.
are you? I think you are connected to 2 devices. That's why it's echoing. So do you want to disconnect one?
Okay. I've unmuted one.
Please, okay, thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
So yeah, but I hope you got the point. But in all these pillars, you know, the key here is making sure that whether we talk about closing the digital skills knowledge gap or improving policy environment for entrepreneurship or access to digital financial services or strengthening digital platform or improving the digital infrastructure, the key here is that the 41% of Nigeria's population, the youth, must be incorporated. And look, guys, let me. I am proudly Igbo, by the way. So at most times, from time to time, I intersperse my talks with Igbo proverbs, especially if I'm talking with my folks. Asena, agwe making kojibura umwaka ejiri ya hienko, right? If a snake fails to show its venom, little kids are going to use it to tie firewood. And that is what is happening to us today. Because the government has succeeded in muzzling us, that to the point that the youth, who are the largest in population, cannot even talk, right? What is happening? They, the government, are using us now to tie firewood. It is not surprising that despite the accomplishments from the teeming youthful population, Twitter is banned. Despite the accomplishments, social media is regulated for us. We even barely have access. This is just yet another point why these 5 pillars need to be solidified with the youth at the centerpiece.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Bright. May Odinaka Kensele come up with his question, please.
Please, Odinaka.
It's very good to be in this platform. Thank you for that lecture, and I appreciate the convener for this opportunity to have this exciting session. My question is on what you think is the role of the youth in diaspora in driving this knowledge-based economy, even though they are not in their homeland. What do you think we can contribute in making sure that this knowledge economy is solidified in Nigeria?
Excellent question. And, you know, when I talk about the youth, it is very generic for the Nigerian youth, both at home and in diaspora. Particularly in diaspora, the youth in diaspora are to be held to a higher account as well. The reason I say this is, yes, it may have been challenging for them to leave the shores of Nigeria due to frustrations, due to the embitterment of Nigeria, but they had gone out and they have experienced a society that involves its youth. Congratulations on your own departure. I wish you the best in your adventure. At the same time, leaving Nigeria should provide a food for thought to help you appreciate that you're now a part of the larger Nigerian and diaspora community. For the youth in diaspora, they must reinvest in the digital economy. They must reinvest, on one hand, the knowledge and training they have received and sowing this seed back to Nigeria. A typical example suffices. Ever since I left Nigeria, I have continued to reinvest in the country and at no pay at all. Oh, may I point out that typical lectures like this, I charge per hour. Yeah. And as I told John, I actually have a lecture at the University of Accra, Ghana, where I'll be delivering a lecture related to something related to this as well. But my point is this. I continue to give in, at least from the point of view of knowledge base, give back to the country. I've continuously made all my publications accessible on platforms across universities. I have continuously engaged in the education sector by delivering master's seminars and symposia. I have also, more importantly, invested in entrepreneurship in Nigeria. I am sure so many youths have been doing this even better than I have been doing. But more importantly is the idea that we must continue driving the circle. We must, as youths in diaspora, actually provide ideas, innovative ideas and support to those at home. And more importantly, I hate this. We must stop blaming the youths at home or saying, you are at home, the Nigerian way and all of that. We must stop looking for the scapegoat because we are all together in the fight. Indeed, whether it is intellectually, scientifically, entrepreneurship, innovation, or whatever, I strongly believe that the youth in diaspora must bring back home. If they don't necessarily need to come back home, they can even virtually transmit this knowledge to those at home. And they must now start to work together with the youth at home in a very vibrant, revolution-based digital innovation. So they should be held to greater account. So for the youth in diaspora, they should contribute. The youth in diaspora also has the same challenges as the youth in Nigeria. Trust me, events happening in Nigeria still affect me. I still have family. I still have friends and former students. I still am connected to Nigeria. I am proudly Nigerian. There is no way we can make this work if we let it be a one-sided affair. No, a one-sided affair is inconvenient. We must be involved. Practically, we must do our part. And this is just beyond sending dollars home. It is true that Nigeria accounts for the largest, remittances of diaspora Africans. But it is not just about these remittances. It is about the skill base that we've acquired, the knowledge base, the experiences. And then, of course, that way we can unitedly, in the spirit of Gidi Gidi Bugweze, we can unitedly make the impact, whether we are at home or in diaspora. Please, at your own time, do some research. You will see that Nigerian youth are excelling in their fields abroad. I am not kidding. And if we excel this way abroad, imagine if we bring this excellence back home, that will be massive. That will shake up the system. During the NSAS protests, because my research gravitated around protests and petitions, I fielded a petition, and I was privileged to submit that petition to my congressman. Yeah, and the response I got was really heartwarming. I told myself, I wish Nigerian government could give me this kind of response, this kind of engagement. So it gave me a lot of things to think about after the NSAS protest, how even something that was happening in Nigeria was being received in the West, in Europe and in North America. In any case, I do believe that we still have a long way to go, but once we are united in this aim and ambition, we are going to succeed, and we should come together. This is a clarion call. We should hold a community town hall of both diasporan and at-home Nigerians, and we can push this youthful revolution together.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Bright Aloje, Assistant Professor of Black Studies at the University of Portland, USA. Please, every other questions on what Dr. Bright has shared with us this afternoon can be directed to his personal email, which I will share with us in the course of this lecture. And also, if you want to know more about him, you can as well visit his website. We now call on my co-moderator, Mr. Kenneth Ugu, to please welcome the guest speaker for his speech. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Before I introduce the next speaker, that's our guest speaker, please, I have to chip in something to the convener of this program. Young Prof.
I'm out here, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think I have to thank Dr. Bright Aloje for his wonderful lecture. What I'm also saying in essence is that we should find a way to document what he has said so far, to make sure that this goes out. I don't know whether the guy at the back end, that's the technical assistant, whether he's recording this particular thing, because we need to share this thing out, and if possible, we make it available in soft copy form for the students in the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, because that was the immediate plan. Because this is a very wonderful lecture. So, Young Prof, I don't know if the guy is recording it, because I'm also doing something from my own end.
Yeah,
Mr.
Kenneth Ogo, you have nothing to worry about. The lecture is being streamed live on YouTube.
Okay, thank you so much.
And it's hosted there for life.
Thank you so much. So I want to introduce the guest speaker for this special event. It's not that person than Mr. Dumebi Obodo. I think he's here with us. Yeah, I'll take a brief citation. Okay. Profile of Mr. Dumebi Obodo. Dumebi Obodo is the Managing Director through Chief Executive Officer at Shams Access Limited, where he leads a team to develop and implement identity management solutions, pension solutions, and other customized solutions. A strategic business executive, strong in market expansion, product innovation, strategy implementation, and corporate re-engineering. Dumebim's year of experience in various roles have given him a strong perspective in the evolving technology business in line with market demands. Boisterous and entrepreneurial, he had a brief stint running a management consulting company and setting up a trade partnership business in the FMCG space. Dumebi earned his Bachelor of Science degree from the Imo State University, Owerri, where he studied microbiology, graduating with second-class honors, upper division. He gained his MBA from Lagos Business School, Pan-African University. He's a member of the prestigious Institute of Directors, IOD, of Nigeria. He has participated in several strategy sections and conferences, locally and international. Please, let's put our hands together as we welcome him to take the next lecture.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you from my end.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Can I be given the permission to share my screen, please?
Go ahead and share screen, sir.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Let me start by acknowledging the conveners, Mr. John, young prof. Thank you very much for having me. I'm always willing and excited whenever such opportunities to contribute my very little quota towards uplifting the youth. So thank you very much. And of course, thank you to your team, John and the others that have been working with you towards successful hosting of this event. Let me also thank Dr. Bright Alozie. I think you've made my job very easy. Very, very easy. So let's say in those days when we say the copy expo, so he's done expo for me. So I will just write on what he said and shine on top of his knowledge, basically. So, so Dr. Bright, thank you very much. That was a very wonderful expose. Very insightful reflection with regard to where we are, what needs to be done, and of course, where we intend to be. I also particularly like the 5 pillars that you mentioned. I'll touch on them in the course of my talk. The infrastructure, the digital infrastructure, the digital platform, the digital financial services and opportunities, the digital entrepreneurship, and of course, the digital skills, which are, these 5 pillars are extremely important. So thank you very much, Doctor. I believe we can also, moving forward, touch base and share ideas on how we can help the youth better, collaborate for mutually engaging and mutually beneficial relationship. So thank you so much for that fantastic presentation. Okay, so let me set the context to my approach. So permit me, I'm an unrepentant optimist. So that explains why I would take it from a different perspective. So my perspective would be the irrespective of perspective, the charging perspective. I have a blind eye to the issues. Not because I do not recognize the issue, but because I believe when I focus so much energy on the issues, I won't have enough energy to be creative, irrespective of the issues. So my slides will take that line of thought. So just listen attentively, ask me questions. I'm more of the street guy, as Doctor said. So my thought line would go in I have about 10 slides, but the real meat is in 3 slides. So I'm not so much of plenty slides. The real meat is in 3 slides. So we'll get into that very quickly. Can everybody see my slides?
Yes, I think I can see it still going.
Can we ask the young man to mute? Okay, thank you very much. Nation building, knowledge economy, digital education in the 21st century, the place of Nigerian youth. Now, this picture clearly represents this topic, right? So that little device that you have exposes you to billions of information, exposes you to what you can achieve, irrespective of what you can achieve, despite the challenges. By the way, I play in the fintech space, the financial technology space. We have a couple of solutions that try to solve some of the problems that we have here. But look at this slide. By my far left is the co-founder and MD of Kuda Bank. Just following that is the 2 young chaps, less than 30, who founded Paystack, valued at $1 billion today in 5 years. Followed by Benga, GB, as we call him in the industry, Flutterwave. We had he used to be the MD, CEO. He stepped down, and Benga is running things presently. Flutterwave is valued at $1 billion as well, 5-6 years. Team Apt, Tosin, is one of the, not one of the fastest, in fact, the fastest growing agency banking platform in the country today. He built it in 2 years. Prior to that time, there were 28 other licensees for agency banking business. Within 2 years, his platform transacted $16 billion. $16 billion. And the last one by the side here is Abson, valued at over $100 million in 10 years. By the way, himself and his brother were FUTO graduates a few years ago. Now, look at this guys on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 companies. They did these things irrespective of the challenges. They did these things with bad governance. They did these things with poor network. They did these things with banditry everywhere. They did these things with Boko Haram. They did these things with poor governance. Poor politicians who know nothing except their pockets. They did this. The same economy where today, dollar in the parallel market goes for 570, 580. It requires a complete mental shift. It requires focusing on what matters.
I'm of Lagos.
The same energy required to complain about the issues, pretty much the same energy required to look for the opportunities to solve the issue. I once told someone in one of my presentations that I'm beginning to believe now that the solutions to our problems may just be in the hands of the private sector. Sounds crazy, right? You'll be shocked. Solutions to security challenges may just be in the hands of the private sector. Solutions to poor network internet challenges pretty much being solved by the private sector. Solutions to devaluation of our currency may just be in the hands of the private sector. How? You heard about the cryptocurrencies. Nigeria still, even with the ban, Nigeria still remains one of the biggest players in the cryptocurrency space, especially Bitcoin. Would it make sense for us to have ours? How do we harness this massive asset? One of the biggest players in the cryptocurrency space, Binance, reported a surge in the P2P transaction. P2P means peer-to-peer transactions on Bitcoin. Immediately the ban happened. I know where it's coming from. This same country that is bedeviled with Boko Haram, banditry, unknown gunmen, and the likes. Sounds strange, but interestingly, some of the problems might end up being solved by the private sector. I don't have the clear solution, but we can take it one after the other. So we have gotten to that point. We need to take the bull by the horn, as Dr. Bright Alozie mentioned. We just have to. Gone are the days we keep shouting. One of the platforms I belong to with young professor, I saw some of my village, my kinsmen, protesting not being taken care of by the oil companies. You wonder, Bill Biden has signed something that will ensure in 2030, I think I read it, half of the US cars will be electric cars. That's the biggest economy in the world of 20 trillion GDP size. In other words, more economic activities happen in that country. As mentioned by Dr. Alozie, Europe is positioning. A few times for business trip, went to China, and there's a place called Shenzhen, like the Silicon Valley of China. And almost 85% of the taxis in that city are all electric cars. And they go for about $25,000 to $30,000. And they are working on reducing it to $10,000. $10,000 is about 5 million. If somebody moves something from 30,000 to 10,000, probably would get to some point to get to $5,000. Who knows? It's gotten to that point. We can't allow our destinies to be in the hands of people who don't understand how we think. We just can't. We can't afford to do that. We just need to reinvent the wheel in a different way. So take for instance, CUDA. CUDA, I was in a presentation recently, and somebody asked the question, what is happening with CUDA? CUDA is a bank. It's a bank. It's credit and debit. Simple and short, it's credit and debit. So you can call it deposit, which is credit, loans, which is debit. It's credit and debit, simple and short. But they created, so to say, created certain different ways within the reduction. And today, within how many years, months, they have about 1.5 million customers. That has taken some banks 20 years to achieve. By the way, they are just a microfinance bank. And they were recently valued at 500 million. Now, I need us to understand the need to change the way we think. Change the way we think. Right? Look at CUDA in terms of valuation. Look at Sterling Bank, Fidelity, FCMB, WEMA. WEMA, by the way, is over 50 years. FCMB is not less than 20 years. Sterling, the same. Fidelity, over 20 years. We have Unity, we have Jaiz Bank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 banks are less than a microfinance bank. Now I need you to understand and appreciate the thinking. It's almost like saying great-grandfather, great-great-great-grandfather, great-grandfather, grandfather, father, combined together cannot match a two-year-old baby in terms of valuation. Now, do you understand what I mean? It requires completely different way of thinking. By the way, CUDA did not do it in an Ireland. They did it in the same country where you and I complain of lack of light, lack of internet facilities, lack of security. The same country. So it's important that we change our paradigm, change our thinking completely. We just have to change our thinking. Look at Florida wave that was mentioned. Florida wave being bigger than Sterling, Fidelity, Wema, FCMB, Unity, Jais, Florida wave, and almost the same as Stanbic IBTC. And it's just a 5 or 6 year old company. By the way, Florida Wave is riding on the infrastructure of InterSwitch switching platform. They just have the payment gateway. Now, when you are comfortable with the norm, that is what happens. Can you dare to think differently? And you know the interesting bit? The same brain you have, pretty much the same brain the man in Silicon Valley has. Yeah, we have Genesis. There are less developers, but pretty much the same, pretty much. It doesn't matter if you're in my village, it doesn't matter. I have one of my software programmers. When they recruited him, we had a need to recruit the guy, and he was highly recommended. And we got him in. The first thing he told us that, hey, he's not willing to wear all this, the normal formal kind of thing. Wear trousers, wear shirt and tie. No, that's not his style. We said, yeah, fine, why not? He had a very funny hairstyle. Scrape this side, leave the center, whatever that means. We said, fine, it's okay. I mean, so long as you get the job done. He wasn't a graduate. He was not a graduate, but he had a skill we were willing to pay for. He understood certain languages, certain programming languages that we needed so badly. So, long story short, we brought him in at about, we agreed, I think about 270, 280,000, thereabout. And we gave him about the best laptop, the best Apple laptop, because that's what he asked for. Let me also put it in context. Since we are talking about digital economy and knowledge economy, none of my, including myself, could make such, none of my other normal, traditional folks or colleagues could make the kind of requests that he made, and we had to budge. In the sense that he doesn't want to dress, he wants to dress the way he wants. He will come in, you can't ask him really when he needs to come in. He comes in, he just gets the job done. So it's just delivery based. And he's not willing, he wears sneakers and he wears jeans, t-shirts, and he comes to work. Now, that is the power That's what we're talking about in terms of knowledge-based economy. That's the power he has to determine for us what he wants, not the other way, not the company determining what he should do. He determined for us because we needed him. He had stuff we didn't have and we needed badly. Long story short, the young man got offers, started getting offers 6 months, 8 months down the line. He got another offer for 500 and he engaged us and said, hey, then we moved his salary to about 450 or thereabouts. And then 6 months down the line, again, he got offers from Canada and then admission to do robotics and stuff. And he wanted to travel and COVID happened. Unfortunately, he didn't travel, or fortunately for us actually. And then post the lockdown, he now got a whooping offer of about almost 1.3 million from a German company. Of course, at that point, we just couldn't match it anymore. And we say, hey, you know what? Can we have a pay-as-you-go deal? So when we need stuff for you to build for us, you just charge us, and then you get it done for us. Today, he works in Nigeria. As I speak, he's in Germany, but he works in Nigeria because we asked them to come for a conference of software guys there. And he went there and he gets the job done. What am I saying? This is the guy that just became a graduate. He just decided to become a graduate for the sake of it. He had his skills, he keeps building on those skills. So we must have a complete mindset shift. You can't do it the same way you've been doing it. And that is what has led the Florida wave within 5 years, a pay stack within 5 years, having the same valuation with Stanbic IBTC, that is well over 20 years. It just has to be different. So you see, by the side mentioned there, asset light. The whole assets you need, the whole oil wells. And when I see it when I hear some of my folks talk about the discovered oil in my village, discovered oil here, discovered oil there. Nobody's talking about that anymore. Asset light. All the oil wells, all the solid minerals, all the gold, all the platinum, everything is now deposited. Look at it from this perspective. Deposited in the head, in your brains. Just brain fire, that's what you need to change things. Just brain fire. So we must start changing our thinking, our thought process. We must start changing our thought process. While I commend you guys, let me also, the idea is also to encourage you and advise you also. There are certain ways you also need to change in terms of your engagement with people, right? The 21st century person does not necessarily need to go through all the protocols. These are on a lighter notes. Protocols you guys went through it, thanking this person, thanking this person, thanking this. Yes, I understand that is the way we were trained. Once you thank everybody for coming, you move straight to the point, straight to the issues. Right. So you don't need to pass from one person to another to none, not necessary, because Time is money. Dr. Alozie mentioned clearly that he charges per hour. Yes. It is his IP. It is IP. He is just the same way you buy data per hour or for 2 hours, for 24 days or 24 hours or whatever. He's selling his brain. So people are on subscription every hour. Yes. Yes. So pretty much 20 minutes or 30 minutes to thank people, you have not made good use of the subscription for his brain. Right. So I just thought we are friends, and it's also important that we also encourage and advise appropriately. So let's have a slight change in what Nigeria is. Okay, so I'm trying to push this out. Okay, so look at this. 1 second. Okay, dare to look at Nigeria as a company. Just dare to look at it as a company. Don't look at it as a country. Nigeria Limited, right? And then compare it with the knowledge-led and digital companies. The visuals by my left show a budget of about 20 billion, depending on the rates that you use. I just used 500 per dollar. At 10 trillion comes to 20 billion. GDP of 440 billion, gross domestic product. That is our ability, the total quantity of goods we can produce. We have the ability to produce. That is 440 billion US dollars. And a debt of over $54 billion. Again, at 500, using 27 trillion as our debt exposure. Place this side by side. Microsoft, Apple is $2.5 trillion. $2.5 trillion. Microsoft is $2.2 trillion. I hope you're following my train of thought. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, following.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Now, of all the companies mentioned, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Only 2 companies are, one is Saudi Aramco, and the other is Berkshire Hathaway, that are not pretty much digital and knowledge-led companies. I want to underscore the reason why we have no option. You know, when you get into an exam and they say there are no options, you just have to, this is what it is. You have to write it and you face it or face it. You face it or face it. This is the direction. Because the 4th industrial revolution of artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data are all driven by knowledge and digital companies. So it's like a test without options. It's not objective. It's an essay. It's either you pass it or you fail it. And that's the reason why I'm saying we do not have options. We just have to go in this direction. Now, look at a single company has $2.5 trillion valuation or market cap. $2.5 trillion. As a company, as a country, we are in less than $500 billion. And this is a country that has over 19 million youths. And one youth, one, not more than one, can actually build this company or one of these companies. Apple, Microsoft, yes, one. It just requires a vision of one person. I need us to understand the reason why it's extremely important for us to change our paradigm. Change our paradigm completely. It's no longer a situation, it's no longer a quota system, it's no longer a situation of I'm from this side of the country, that's how. No. The world has changed. The world has changed. It's changing. We do not have options. We do not have options. We just have to change. We just have to change. For us to be relevant in the new scheme of things, we just have to change. If tomorrow they say oil, nobody is buying oil anymore. Not even, it has started already. 13%, nobody will be discussing 13% derivation. No governor will be talking about. Already, Shah has started offloading their assets in Nigeria. Nobody will be talking about it. It's happening right before us. And it's important that we change the way we think. Because riches, wealth, poverty, sickness, whatever you think of, it comes from the mind. It just comes from the mind. It has to come, it emanates from the mind. So we just need to change the way we think. Avoid discussions around, this is the way it has always been. Let us go and meet these people so that they can give us this portion of land because it's part of where oil is, it's part of this, so that we can get our heritage. That it doesn't work anymore. You don't need oil wells to succeed anymore. None of these guys, none of them has an oil well. None. They are all young chaps. Interestingly, these two, the Paystar guys are less than 30. Oh yes, less than 30. They graduated like 7 years ago from Covenant University. It's about changing the way we think. We must get to that point. I'm taking my time because that is the way we can change things. If we don't get it right, it doesn't matter the amount of slides that I present that will make any impact. The numbers are there if you want the numbers are there on the net. It's not just about the numbers, it's about making a conscious effort to change the way we think. So after this presentation, you ask yourself very pertinent questions. How should I start thinking? How should I start changing my orientation? How should I start engaging? And you know the interesting thing? The internet is a leveler. As I mentioned, the young man who was a software programmer, I can't remember the university he went to. It's not important. I can't remember the degrees he has. It's not important. In the digital economy, nobody cares about the degrees you have. As Doctor mentioned, he has all the degrees, but what keeps him going is the street knowledge. The digital economy is so, you know, it's even coming at an exciting time that in the first industrial revolution, second, third industrial revolution, we could not cope. We're still dealing with issues of second industrial revolution, electricity and the likes. But you know the interesting bit, the good news, is that we have two components to our favor. One is that the knowledge economy is coming at a time when the internet has exploded. And the internet world is almost a leveler. I use the word almost in the sense that, okay, we still have certain issues of getting device, getting good internet, but hey, irrespective of that, our guys are doing well. Our guys are doing well. So two things that come to play to our advantage. One is the fact that we have a teeming youth population that could become a curse if we don't utilize it. That we are very productive as a people. It's a huge, huge, huge advantage if utilized. If not utilized, they go into crime, they go into a lot of things, banditry and the likes. It becomes even more difficult to feed that huge population. So the youth population and the fourth industrial revolution. Let's leave a little bit the advanced side of data analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the likes. But appreciation of internet, appreciation of programming languages and things like that. That is how you as a youth in Nigeria can compete with the guy in Silicon Valley. Yes, you just need to pick up one or two little skills, develop on them, and you will be hotcake. I know people who are earning $5,000, $10,000 in their houses in Nigeria as programmers for companies that are based abroad. Yes. One of the we shout about doctors and the likes going on strike. One of the biggest problems today is the movement of software engineers around the world. It's becoming a major, major issue because you are paying somebody $500,000 in a month, and somebody offers him $10,000 and tells him, "Don't worry, you don't need to come to the office. Just sit at home. We pay you. We're not paying you in naira. We're paying you in dollars." We must have that mind shift. And I'm not saying everybody must be a programmer, but understand where the market is going in terms of skill level, in terms of what is required for the future. I am not a programmer, but I understand the business of technology. I understand the business of knowledge-based economy. So we can play different roles. You can be a product person, a product manager, you can be a software architect, you can be a programmer yourself, you can be a QC person, that's quality control or quality assurance person. different things in the value chain in IT, digitization, and knowledge economy. It can be a data scientist. You can, even in manufacturing, how much of digitization do you deploy to improve, increase efficiency and improve output? How much technology do you deploy? Today, many banks are shutting down their brick and mortar branches because they can still achieve the same. So it's no longer about the number of branches you have. It's about the efficiency. It's about leveraging technology. You know the interesting bit? These things are done by youth. NIBS, Nigeria Interbank Settlement Systems, that powers the NIP payment platform. That is, if you go to a bank and you want to do a transfer, either from your phone or you're at the bank, is powered by NIBS. That solution was built by Nigerians. I think I was seeing some numbers in June 2021. There was the total transaction value, I think around 20-something trillion that went through the NIP. Wasn't built by somebody from the US or from UK, built by Nigerians. The same way Team Apps has done transactions, $16 billion built by Nigerians. We just have to change our orientation. We just have to change the way we think, because things are happening in the midst of the issues, in the midst of insecurity, in the midst of devaluation, in the midst of hunger. A lot of things are happening. We just have to change our orientation. So these are the numbers that you and I know and have. Teeming population, teeming youth for population, one of the youngest populations in the world. And that is a massive, massive, massive asset in terms of labor. In terms of labor. UK, today you have a lot of jobs in the UK. People are moving to UK and Canada because they don't have huge young population. So people have to work in the economy for the economy to be vibrant. They seem to have a lot more older folks, and they're not as productive as we are in terms of having children. So you see, that's a huge advantage to us. As I always say, that same advantage can turn to chaos and a huge social crisis if we do not harness it very well. The Youth Board has the potential to propel economic growth and human development. However, it is not automatic. We just have to do something about it. If we don't harness it, they become menace, they become nuisance to everybody. As we have seen in the Boko Haram situation, as we have seen in our youths getting involved in cybercrime and the likes. So this is pretty much, these are information that you can always get online, pretty much the distribution of population in Nigeria, right? From different age perspective. So you see how from 0 to 50, let's say working age 50 or thereabout, look at the number. So let's delve into knowledge-based economy and society, knowledge-based economy. Now, let's break it down a little bit. Now, we understand knowledge, what knowledge is, right? or not what knowledge acquisition is. Now, a knowledge-based economy is one where organizations and people acquire, create, disseminate, use knowledge more effectively for greater economic and social development. Right? It's becoming a huge means for value creation. Take, for instance, the software programmer I mentioned. He had something we badly needed, so badly needed. And that's knowledge. It's his IP, it's in his brain. He's built it. You can imagine if Nigeria has 2 million, 10 million, 50 million software developers that are marketable. The National Assembly may never discuss 13% derivation anymore. Calculate how, let's say 90 million, 18 to 35 or to 40, 90 million. Let's say half of that. That's 45 million. So let's take an average, 45 million people. Let's even bring it down. Take another half of that. So 1/4. 27 million. 27 million multiplied by $10,000. What does it give? 27 million multiplied by $10,000. What does it give? It gives $270 billion. Let's be conservative. Let's just take 10%. Let's not be too aggressive. Let's just take 10% of that youth population and bring it down to 9 million. 9 million people multiplied by $10,000. That comes to $90 billion. Let's still bring it down a little bit and say 5% of that. That comes to $45 billion. $45 billion. So we can export humans. We can export humans to the world and raise $45 billion. I didn't say naira. Every month, that's what those people will earn. So you can imagine if the federal government or state government or the private sector harnesses this opportunity to build this exportable. And mind you, when I use the word exportable, doesn't mean that they must necessarily travel out to get this job done. You work from anywhere as a software person. So they can actually sit down, 9 million people, earning $10,000 every month, and they will generate the country $45 billion monthly. Multiply that by 10 months, it comes to $450 billion. Add additional, that's about 490, yes? 450 plus 90. That comes about 500 and something billion dollars. That is what we can earn in a year. Just exporting the skills of our people. Nobody will be talking about oil well in my village. Right? So it's extremely It's extremely important that we look at things from that perspective so that such things can guide our thought process. Very, very important. Of course, I've talked about the knowledge economy and education. Our approach to education has to change. It's no longer about the degrees. The degrees are important, don't get me wrong, but let's also build some other skills that would help us to be very competitive. So I'll quickly rush and get to the end of my presentation. I will share the slides for you guys to disseminate. Of course, the concept of traditional education has changed radically in the last couple of years. So you don't necessarily need to be in a particular place to receive lecture to get learning and things like that. So let me quickly jump down to my last slide because of time. As I mentioned earlier, the internet is a leveler. That is where your treasure lies. It is a leveler because there's really no difference between yourself and the person in Silicon Valley, in UK or any other place. There's really no difference. The world is a global village. You can stay in Nigeria and work in US, UK, or Germany. I put this thing this way so that we can understand and appreciate the reason why we are not so different from these people. It's just in our thinking. So I put it there that yes, truly, you can compete with these guys. You can, because I've seen it. I've seen people doing great things. I started with the people who build things, who are building things in the same environment. All you need to do is to build and keep building your skills. You are closer to Silicon Valley than you think. As I said earlier, think less of oil, think more of your brain. Your brain has all the oil, all the gold, all the minerals Nigeria will ever have put together. So as I round up, my intention was not or is not to rule out the challenges. The challenges are there. We all know the challenges. Challenges of poor education, challenges of poor infrastructure, poor security. My intention is not to rule out the challenges. My intention is to charge you that irrespective of the challenges that we all know, Nigerian youth reach out for the sky. Thank you very much for sharing or being part of this presentation. So if there are questions, I'll be glad to take them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Are there questions?
Well, I think maybe the moderators have not coordinated to see my hand raised. But if I may, can I?
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Dumebi. Actually, you know, as I enjoyed this lecture, um, whether or not I'm a professor, I'm your student, and it was so much appreciated. And the reason I appreciate this is the information and perspective you brought it. And as I said in my keynote address, that I was only doing what it was, the keynote address, knowing the problems, and that I knew you were going to flesh it out. And this is one of the most proactive and practical paradigm shift lecture to digital knowledge-based economic approach with the youth at the centerpiece. If there's any takeaway we got from this, it is the irrespective of perspective. As a matter of fact, I took note of that phrase, which is a challenge to us as you know, the inspiring examples you gave us help us to think beyond the problems that we face. I know that you have been in the space of fintech. You've been in the space of ICT. You are doing phenomenal. My question is this, in that space from your personal experience, because, you know, we go about to talk about this youth revolution. We charge the youth, you know, to do things. You as a youth as well, as an advocate for the youth, as a Nigerian, as someone who owns a space, an industry space in this particular problem, what do you do to mitigate, like to bridge the divide now, and grant and help youths in the most rural, remote areas have more access to ICT, innovative skills, potentials, and all that? I am particularly concerned about the rural space because despite the strides we've made, that rural remote space is significantly deficient in Nigeria.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor. I used to be part of the project sponsored by USPF. They call it CCC, Community Computer Centers. Those were some of the efforts the government had made to provide IT access to people in the rural areas. But for various reasons, that project did not achieve some of the primary outcomes. But let me also take it from this other perspective. One of the things that we have gotten involved in is working with the agency banking companies to improve financial inclusion. Now, as you know, financial inclusion is not so much of urban play. It's a lot more in the rural space. We provided the solution, the identity-based solution. So, you know, one of the challenges we have in this part of the world is that one of the reasons why we don't run a credit-based economy is because identity, which is the foundation for credit, doesn't exist. So we provided the identity solutions, working with NIPS, that will help the agency banking companies to identify. Because when you want to pay, you have to identify. You don't want to create anonymity that will cause problems, right? So we provided identity-based biometric devices and some other solutions, software solutions that help in identity. And we are still doing that. So these things permeate the rural areas. The numbers that we have now, there are close to 500,000 agency points scattered around the country. So people can confidently go to agency points and either use their card or use other means of identity management to transact, to do cash out, to do so many other things. These were not these were not things possible. These things were not possible a few years ago, right? Today, these things are happening. And a lot of challenges out there. But the truth is that people are embracing these things gradually. Today, people send as high as 20,000 to their loved ones or go to those points to receive 20,000 from their children abroad in their locality. So these are successes being recorded. I mentioned $16 billion being routed through Team Act in a space of 2 years. That was exactly what happened. These numbers happen in the rural areas because the banks don't have presence in the rural areas. So the real agency banking happens in the local areas. Yes, the other issues, there are some personal initiatives I'm also involved in to empower local folks. You know, there's so much you can do in terms of these things to provide laptops, tablets, and the like. So projects like that are also going on a personal level. But on a corporate level, we're also doing quite a lot to push technology down to the rural areas.
Thank you so much. You really hit the nail on the head. And please, to the conveners, to everybody out there, I think this is also a motivation for us. And on a final note, I am happy to collaborate as well, and explore opportunities for us to keep doing our part. Both in terms of empowerment, digital literacy, and the conveyance of this knowledge, especially to rural communities. And I have had my own personal projects from my little space, and I am happy that from that space that you dominate, you are actually significantly making an impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Kingsley, you can go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much for your lecture. I wasn't there the whole time, but the little I was able to capture, it was quite incisive. Like I didn't know that there was a lot going on at this level, especially with the question on rural projects. So my question is this: as an expert in this field, what do you think? What do you think is the challenge of many youth? Because even though these things are going on, many youths are still don't know what is happening, and many of them think that they don't have the platform. That if the government doesn't provide this platform, then there is nothing they can do. What do you think is we can do as youth, to make our fellow youth to understand that irrespective of the fact that the government is not responsive to this change, that they can, enjoy these things wherever they are? What do you think are the things we are supposed to do in regards to that? Because it's our responsibility, as the keynote speaker has earlier pointed out.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kingsley. Now, first, let me say, how much of our time as youth do we devote to things that help us to develop ourselves, right? I run a company today. I know the amount of time I put into improving myself every day. Because if I don't, I get overtaken. It's not a cost, that's the way it works. So how much of time do we spend on the net to look for things that would improve us? Let me give you an instance. There's a company called Andela that they manage technology guys, right? Now, it doesn't matter if you are from the poorest of homes. There's a company called Decagon today.
Yeah, Decagon.
Yes. They manage Once they train you, they assure people invest money. They even raise some about 20 or 30 million dollars. I can't remember the exact figure. So they train people, right? And then they sign contracts. And they know that this person, these are the different areas that you specialize in and all that. And then over time, I think they have a repayment structure, right? There are some companies. There's a microfinance bank called EdFin, Education Finance. So it's gradually trickling into the country today. EdFin, so what they do is they give loans, sign certain contract if you want to study abroad, if you want to study locally, and things like that. They give loans, and so if everybody's heading towards the knowledge economy, knowing that everything, all the treasure we need is here. So people are positioning either from a lending perspective or from a training perspective. Decagon is very heavy in training. So they now bring in teachers who teach these people so that they can be industry ready and relevant. What I charge the youth is, how much of time do you spend to seek for these companies? Don't waste your time doing Instagram, listening to this person went to this show. The video is making his own money off you as a content. So have time to develop yourself. Have time to look for things that will develop you. It is there. The only thing is that we get crowded. Of the people that I showed you on the platform, that picture, the second slide that I showed, you'll be shocked that many of us don't know them. But all of us on this platform know Davido. But they are worth 2, 3, 4, 5 times the worth of Davido. That is the way, that's the way it works. What do we don't know the owner of Paystack, the founder of Paystack. We don't know him. But his company is worth $1 billion. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I also wanted you to draw the attention of the youth to those things, because I feel like a lot of us are distracted, especially with the digital space. You know, the digital space, you know, in as much as it offers a variety of opportunity, is still a distractor to many youth. And I have argued this with a lot of people, and they will tell me that there is nothing they can do, and that the only way they can survive is to engage in some negative things and on the internet. Yes, opportunities on the internet. And I see them investing a lot of energy in doing this. And I always tell them that if this level of energy can be invested the other way around on the digital space, because when we talk about what the governments are doing and what they ought to do, we should also think about what we they don't use it to do anything meaningful in their life. So thank you very much for that answer. I really appreciate your lecture, Mr. Dumebi Obodo. And I'll reach out to you, because if there are more opportunities like this, I also like, you know, taking part in sharing of this knowledge and creating awareness on the need to explore the digital economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Kingsley. Thank you. I think there's Kingsley Ezewa that wants to talk.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It has been a good one. Particularly, I appreciate the practical terms with which you presented your points. I think you have somehow taken care of the question I wanted to raise. but I still want you to shed some light on it. It is on an issue that despite the reality of digital backwardness among Nigerian youth, I still believe that there are still unsung digital experts among the youth who are still struggling to eat just because they don't know how best to reach out to individuals, to companies or agencies that can hire them and possibly give them a better life. For instance, the smart guy you mentioned that your company hired, I wish to know how exactly you people were able to get to know him, or how he was able to reach out to you people, so that other youths who may have hidden skills that they don't know how best to sell can actually learn from that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Kingsley. So to be direct, to have a direct answer to your question is, you know, a road is used by the good, the bad, the ugly, right? It's the same way social platforms are used. So you can go there, waste your time, and you can also go there, extract value. So your LinkedIn, for instance, it doesn't cost anything to establish a LinkedIn account, right? Package yourself very well. You know how to do this, and then there are different LinkedIn groups that you can connect to, right? And then throw up discussions, throw up your comments on certain things you have achieved as a person. Believe me, this is the best time anyone can sell himself. It doesn't matter your location. So if you package yourself well, present yourself on LinkedIn, discuss on germane things, because the truth is, you read it online, you get information, you apply the local knowledge you have, you adapt it to the local environment, you come up with your own views about these things. And you, because you have read very well, you've read here, you've read what another person has written, you read here, you've combined everything, and you come up with your own thinking, and you pour it out there. Somebody will look at you and say, this guy knows what he's doing in this direction, in that direction, in that direction. So the social media platform is a is a veritable tool for you to express yourself. Now, of course, that is where somebody anywhere in the world can reach out to you. As simple as that. Does that clarify, Kingsley?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. John Abiam, are you still with us? Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dumebi Obodo. This is a very wonderful lecture. It's a very wonderful lecture. You know, I made emphasis on this. In short, I'm coming from the students. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I told the convener that I'm coming from a students community. I told him I've been emphasizing on the need for every student in the University of Nigeria to get this particular lecture. They need to hear it. They need to hear it. So thank you so much. Without taking much of our time, I think we are done with the program that we have here. The next thing we have is the recess. And the recess includes refreshment sponsored by John Abiam, contributors' presentation and closing remark and vote of thanks. That's all. That's all. That's all. So if John Abiam is still here with us, he can do the needful with refreshment. I don't know how the refreshment will go on. I don't really know how that one will be. I don't know whether it's a normal refreshment I'm thinking. Well, I think let me just call that. I think it's time for giveaway. Giveaway. Even though I'm hungry from this end. But if it's not ready, then we go with the contributors presentation, then the closing remark. I think that's just the end. So it's time for the contributors presentations. Please, I'm giving us just okay.
Let me make a comment here about the contributors.
Okay.
Mr. Ibiam is ready with his presentation. That's in what you want to contribute. There were others, but they seem to have logged out. So let's take from Mr. Ibiam. If he's not ready, you can call it a day. Okay.
Mr. Ibiam, please, if you are still here with us, just send hi in the chat box. Just unmute yourself and say something. Just 30 seconds will be okay.
I think he has a problem with his sound.
Okay, if he's not here, then means we proceed with the next thing I have here on my list, which is closing remarks by the chairman.
Okay.
Closing remark by the chairman. Is Dr. Moore here with us?
No, he sent me a message.
Okay, he sent you a message.
Yes.
Okay.
He had an emergency from the department.
Okay, he had an emergency. Okay, yes. That's fine. I think we go with vote of thanks. Then we call it a day.
Right. All right. It is 4:45 here in Nigeria. We started the meeting around 2 minutes after 2, meaning that we've spent roughly 3 hours. I know why I put it in that way, 3 hours. The guest speaker said one thing, that he's an unrepented optimist. I think that is the school of thought I belong to. I'm a guy that I don't like. Not that I don't like. If there is a crowd, I appreciate it. But I more or less prefer few committed working people. I think today my day is made, in the sense that the 2 speakers we presented to the world, no doubt, has done mightily to this topic. And even if the program or their record should be repeated 30 years coming, I think it will still be relevant within the national and global discourse of time. So that is a wonderful one, I must say, particularly from I call him my lecturer. He's still my lecturer. So he's in the USA. Dr. Bright Alozi. Your lecture was a powerful one, a kind of a sunshade. Now the guest speaker elaborated more on it. It means that we presented the world with global speakers that they ought to have been part of it. But unfortunately, like what I remarked earlier, Nigerian youths, I keep on saying it, I might be right, I might be wrong, still constitute their own problem. The Nigerian youth still constitute their own problem. This program has been on air in the last 1 month. But in the last 2 weeks, we started back-to-back awareness. I was able to engage so many student unionism in UNIZIC, FUTO, Imo State Polytechnic, IMSU, one in Unilag. I also reach out to my big friends that are lecturers to also encourage their students to log in, which if I should forward my inbox, you will see so many of them telling me or saying that they will be there, they will be there. Well, today, what do we have? However, like I said, that today is a great day. Today is a great day in the sense that all of us can confirm that we are not disappointed by the speaker that we brought today to give this lecture. They did justice to it. And it is on that note, I will still continue to tell all of us, no matter whatever you are doing, what we are trying to do is to a panel, a society that should be better than the way we met it, no matter the challenge. Oh yes, the challenges are, I put it in a way that is constant, but solution should be the best thing and not to take the of the challenges like the guest lecturer said. So I must say that it is a good one today. I also thank my contributors that are here. We love you people. You did well by coming, by logging in. I know you must have one thing or the other to say, but probably because of time, you just have to share your. It's a wonderful one. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming. Nigeria has a better chances of doing better if our youth will continue this conversation and always know that they have nothing to lose in a revolution, because whosoever that is down has nothing to lose. So on that note, I said that it has been a good conversation, particularly from our guest speakers. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you so much, the convener. You've really done a very big work. And I want to extend my special regard to Dr. Bright Alozie and Mr. Dumebim. Yeah, I projected this. Some persons who are here, they said I should greet you guys. They couldn't join the Zoom, this thing. So we have to shoot it on the projector. Some persons are right behind us. I think we even had much number here than what you guys had on the Zoom. So you people, we are not alone. Some students were here. So I'm also suggesting to the convener, if there's a way, in case, because we believe something like this will still come up, we shoot it for the students in the university through the projector. I think we get much number, because most of them we are skeptical about their this thing, data. So we shot it on the projector. So we had some persons in that background that people didn't see. They were here, they heard about the lectures, and they really said I should extend my regards to the speakers. So thank you very much, Dr. Bright Alozie and Mr. Dumebim. We really appreciate. So on behalf of them, I'm saying thank you too, and also to the convener. So I think it's time for the closing prayer.
May I chime in a contribution, please, real quick?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity. So I feel free to always contact me. Yeah, I do have a busy schedule, but you know, this is my contribution to building the youth, building the nation. And if such a conference this could be held, will be held again, I would love more publicity. I would be happy to support financially, and if there is an avenue to ameliorate the internet needs and deficiencies, I am happy to, you know, if it is campus-wide access, so that a group of students could, you know, benefit from this. I am happy to chime in quite literally some 2 cents, you know, here and there. So my point being that as I give moral support, I am also, you know, contribute a little bit or out of my purse to, you know, help so that we can get far wider reach. So please, thank you again. I'm really humbled, and
thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Good to have you here. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, everybody. for making our time to be here this evening. I thank and appreciate everybody.
Right.
So
Thank you.
we might kindly take the lead. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Right.
so
Bye
much.
bye.